Hello and welcome to another video with Mrs. Manley. Today we are going to be discussing EQ3, domain and range, and this is just going to be our first video. So our EQ3 says, I can find the domain and range of the following representations: discrete graphs, continuous graphs, ordered pairs, tables, mapping diagrams, and real-world scenarios. You have two new WordWall words that you need to add to your WordWall list in your notebook. Please pause your screen here to add domain, your input values or X values, and range, your output values or Y values, to your notebook. In class, we are completing a foldable. However, I knew most of you would not be able to print it out, so I recommend that you take notes. These are the section titles that you could label it: ordered pairs and tables, mapping diagrams and graphs, and from a situation. If you wanted to, you could make your own graphic organizer in your notebook labeled this way. If so, pause your screen now. So the first thing we're going to look at is, again, the definition of domain and range. So domain is the set of all inputs or X values, and range is the set of all outputs or Y values. Very important with domain and range, and I highly recommend you put this in your notebook, is that you always list least to greatest, and you do not list the same number twice. So let's go ahead and start out with an example of ordered pairs. Again, if you would like to add this to your notebook, then go ahead and pause your screen so that you can add the example and then work it along with me. When we're looking at domain, we're looking at all the X values. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. They're already in order for me, so I'm just going to write them separated by commas. For range, we're going to look at 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, already in order, so I'm just going to write them down. And that's an example of how you would do it with ordered pairs. Now we're going to look at a table. So on the table, and again, pause your screen at any point to write these examples down. On a table, again, we're going to start with our X values for our domain. So we have 7, 7, 8, and 8. Remember I told you that you never list the same number twice, so we're just going to list our numbers as 7 and 8. Alright, so continuing with our range values. Our range values, which is my Y, sorry, let me go back here. Alright, our range values, which is our Y, are -1, -2, -3, and -4. But we need to write them from least to greatest. So it's going to go -4, -3, -2, -1. And yes, order does matter. If you list them greatest to least, it's incorrect. You must go least to greatest. Here's another table. This one's vertical. So again, let's start with our domain, which is our X values. We have -3, 0, and 3. For our Y values, we have -6, -4, and -2. Now we're going to look at a mapping diagram. Remember, a mapping diagram is just another way of showing ordered pairs. So if I was to write this out, then I would have -5, 2, -5, 11, and 7, 2 would be my points. So all I need to write down for domain is -5 and 7, and for range 2 and 11. All right, up next we're going to look at a discrete graph. Remember, discrete means dots. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do a discrete graph. I like to just kind of line it up, but a student that I work with, that I tutor, prefers to write all her points down first. So I'm going to show you that method. So we're just going to write all our points down. So we're going to start at this point right here. So that point is at -2, 1. And we'll do this point, which is at -2, 3. Then I'm going to do this point, which is at 1, 4. Then we'll do this point, which is at 3, 1. And last but not least, we'll do this point, which is at 0, -3. So then I can just look at all of my x values and put them in order from least to greatest. So my smallest number is -2, which appears twice, but I only have to write it once. I don't have any more negatives in my x's, so my next largest is 0, and then 1, and then 3. Then I can go back for my y values. I have 1, 3, 4, 1, -3. So -3 is my smallest number. And my next smallest is 1, which appears twice, leaving me with 3 and 4. Alright, up next we're going to look at a scenario. So a kickboxing studio charges a $15 registration fee and $10 for each class attended. Complete the table. So if we complete the table, we started out with $15 that we paid once, and then we're adding $10 each month. So my table's filled in, and then it asks me what is the domain. So these would be my x values, these would be my y values. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Describe what the domain represents. Classes attended. If we want to be specific, we can say kickboxing classes attended. What is the range? 15, 25, 35, 45. And what does this describe? Total money spent. Alright, so here is some additional practice. So I would like you to pause your screen here, go through and work these out on your paper, write your answers down, and then unpause to see how you did. Alright, so let's see how you did. So for the domain, for number 7, you should have had -9, -7, -5, -3. And for the range, -1, 0, 1, 2. For number 8, for the domain, you should have had 7, 8, 9, 10. And for the range, just -4. Again, remember we always write least to greatest, and we never repeat a number. For number 9, -2, -1, 0 is my domain. Range, 15, 18, 21. For number 10, I wrote all my points down first. And then for my domain, I had -3, -3, 0, 3. And then for my range, 1, 2, 3. For number 11, again, I started by writing my points down, and I had -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And for my range, I had 0, 1, which appears once, or I mean twice, and 4, which also appears twice. Alright, last practice problem for you to complete. So go ahead and pause your screen here and complete it, and then unpause to see how you did. Alright, so complete the table. We drive at an average rate of 45 miles per hour. So at 0 hours, we've driven 0 miles, 1 mile, 45 miles, 2 miles, 90, and 3, 135. What's the domain? That's my hours, 0, 1, 2, 3. And that describes, again, hours. What is the range? 0, 45, 90, 135. And that's my miles that I have driven. Alright, so we're just going to continue with some practice. Again, if you feel like you need to continue practicing, go ahead and press pause and then unpause to see the answers. Alright, here we go. So for number 1, my domain was -4, -2, 0, 1, 3. Range, -5, 2, 3, 5, 7. For number 2, my domain was 2, 3, 4, and my range was 20, 30, 40. And then for number 3, and you notice I kind of marked mine out as I go so I don't miss a number, my domain is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and range -1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10. So we're going to stop here with our exit ticket today to end part 1 of domain and range, and we will tackle continuous graphs in my next video. So for your exit ticket, I'm going to add this into Kiddom. So you can go ahead and look at it here if you would like to and get your answers ready, but you're going to answer this directly in Kiddom. Have a great day. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me a message on Remind or email me, and hope you're staying healthy and safe.